biaya Professor Mills eba abemu odi ne nkomo no ene nkomo a atoforcing edi and it's largely because enkrofo elibo se yede niema we nenam niema we ne yede nam ti se yebetu eska ya hu sikasemu ni obehwe no na niema na nipa no ebo odi se eno no ode nam no na enye saa na enkomo no etie esu we de etwamu akọ yaye ho adwuma nyina awie wani bako akọ so no ne enye ho adwuma na chese nipa bi na wokeka won ho bomu a wo fa kwati kwan so eje oman ni sika esesenka eba oman no afutuo bezabije mamenhye nkomo ya asemfiri won chen menyi ni so bia ete nkomo ya ebeye no nkomo foforo wo Ghana nti ekwan ben so ne ye fa yebetimi asi ade wo ho kwan wo hwe no from 2009 and now we are talking 2026 the corruption within our borders, our ports, no day.
We near and then they are not kakra. But you are quite pretty temporary. So I President Kufuor take over. Or one policy was zero tolerance for corruption. And now we are here to say we free soon day. We to make to Asialesa. As you queen no more, yen corruption being drew DNA, Katajibia maybe. But on our coin who say, I don't know how brew. O Kwana Sabas or no caso corruption process started from Madam Monteja. After I began debating my but I could do a biana cause o Kwanko. But the even move as a man is a Sabine to me be who say, oh, why ye be? Now really why ye so near, will be a begiatu. Cause no green any pay to me and your conco. And they are we bears or a catastrophe. But I am a system, no, at the institution no guacum and Mreguacum. As obedience and Fonsa. As would you be sa, you soon when you're punishing a tiano, and may come be on only near nine who say, oh, as soon as you could be near any sea. In the Mizzle Qua, maybe says I know one the anchor, no couldn't do a bit much striker. Now I'm sure Professor Mo's video now, no can say, no come rock a cramon. Or if you do not say, or can I know Rahuancasa? And I no can so your opinion or Casa, it will be as old out of 120, now Casa say or near me. Professor Mo's and now. Okay, Suban and now. As a or academic too much. Or in net typical politician too much, I don't know. I do want my skin in Timisa. So we say Rollins, not seen the air earlier. I say Rollins like a cookie as well, and as we seen anymore. Ka do be a customer, which the whole crown can hold so. But in the case, another boko, will be as in nature. But near say obedience and phone and what Yana, Yan Casaboko, Yan Panicho, and I am crocro. Miano, and man watching. And you could be so my Mohano. I say, in Swiss, Nakasa, and yet, and when you didn't out. Or more tell you more. I'm represents it. Say, Coaches may say Kim, not MP before sorry. Then this is sorry. They could be say, also we would ya or MVP in our soon. Also, we would your end is in our soon. Yeah, how about Cono? The Cobas will be a sobbing team. The future and crater no creamy would differ. Into no deal different in a Nico's P. Judge and our court one. That was oh, yeah, the police not on chain. Name to be a domestic and say a she, neck and wasm. Now, me, one kick. No cream, say, as soon as I now been to me a funny mongrel from one pushes no, can you qua, a name and a quana, a copy baby anka, a car ticket to Nanko Moko, and give home a chapel. Now, a name for him in a copy. The party officers only in charge no be. You do me. And I ain't go back say, when you are going to my surgery reader. And they are ski. And they are your conspiracy boo. And they are independent unions, even I come one boom. Ya many office back. Was all office back now, yet they are, it will be a police in Becho. An officer in Becho. In the Cobase, network in the Ewa, and I say a threat. In the second two, I said, I say, make sure say, oh, the friends say intelligence and Casao. That's our counterintelligence. In this was my as soon as the uncle Maria. No small business that professor they are. Maybe because as more will be fragments, professor Mummy, no medical economy, they are. Now, I had on the question, a human nations at the jam. And I didn't know could be say, do dear new moon. Send your politics in the copy one on one. Now say, a yen competence be. You could be awkward. You need to be na copy what they are. See, so many a pandashina, Obi and Wakawe. As a cobase, Benifoni, Omudie, front line is in and we bring now, could use politics in tea and copy of her. And then I can find brave. Who could say king, Nakadaniaso. But ye a Jumo Kuma, you see, who say be a friend of politics. And you may be an anti-political. Maybe one of my friends say the public sector, civil service, and a department you say, or more, or Maku school, or no one day, or no minimum day, and all. Now, so also be Musa or Padishanoa, now Uncle Real politics. Now, I say a bamboo for near police for near soldier for near customs in now, you show me Yakaka. Scaffold depends on more, Nukurini, you are not a haunted to one Gacrano, who be a tongue. Was there Obi a shit's castle, and as his company is the Mundibia, the Covas and the Catriana, Edia, Oyasum. But it's a criminal, you need a customer, you make a try. They call my Omogatriana Crackers riding for Mumbi. Immigration for your home Mumbi. Almost more airport to name a seaport in the account, your home Mumbi. Almost any of home Mumbi. It didn't go a Catria Camasadia, a resident Jumano Beni. But now could we say, we saw Obiania friend James Madison, or rising by a US for president, was it? If men were angels, no government would be needed. Nipa, any angels. Yesuba mboni ntini hiaban. Na gini suba mboni ya. Sebe geni na ye, vazi ni na ye akonkonfo. Angels. Ka hia government zao. But even heaven kura okwa, nyankopon na ye the leader. Ansana angels na ba. I just said there is some rank no. Even among angels no kura leadership. And the leadership dey here. You say any pabonifo, and as you bit my boninti, and you dear bimba. As a bimba and in some more meredia, and they are Jew no bit my fasiaco. As a bind is a morning, say a soom, you found home baby of freeba, you found home to obo, you found home bushia womb, you found party a woman near Panishawa. Now, a woman say, oh, when you're a Jumano, a bind a yini. But over here, corruption be brave na coba. I saw this saying, big diggy. I come a coach there 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Na atiakoda yekuruma no kamia ko eza say ye so adi mu ide emotions na ye but emotions no wi tunchen na ade mara yedwuma ele na mo ka asembi say how me be kakra about Professor Jampu say eti committee mam say wadi nsamfu bi ne hwehwem na committee hwehwem no de ho ayiba ho omo report ba na report no say unni boni bia esi they don't know which one. So how be a Paco court? So a court no evidence in you. Almost say criteria did evidence too. Your back friend say admissible evidence. And your back friend inadmissible evidence. And this make in the house, oh, I brand to matter one idea. No so Paco court. Paco court no court no overcharging with defamation. Court no be way insult no. At me did me do no. A drew bar na a say a defamation na. I'm do at the news are bana, me do attempt but on punishment. And only as I'm the because of our brand here, Umuras in the Usubani, our own Quasoriana, and I will in a minute, and I would depend at him, but won't mean punishment. Because I'm Ranama, certain baby, the news are bana, won't mean punishment, say, why yet one year friend defamation, or booby enemy, but they at me. It didn't have committed in the report to bar. A camera say, Kuman is assembly bar near Coca. Nekas oh, and Benifo Kushimua. Say, what you committee manua. Bibrina and Kuis, oh, you're what you committee mandia, 7 years.
But in this instance, the minister says that, yes, from this point, anything that has to do with oil, cooking oil, this is the process. Whilst I investigation, so that the inquiry say, oh, yeah, Chayama committee never in a Juma and Sunday to anam.
Indeed, Abraham Mushumuni dear, Mubia and cooking oil, baby.
Not Mobia and Fanfa, but the process of going through it and by sea. Mobia and Fanfa by road said the more year. If you muni, necessary measures now near the year Juma, the Bay Juma says, here they become one now on the account. In
Pacho, so it will be free Mali, and as of Burkina Faso, only on the first year command.
Well, there are always processes. There are always processes. Even by road, there are measures. But over here, in this matter, almost as a share, Nasa almost yeska, and share. Almost as a share, say, we build the air show, say, receipts the air show, Ubian, and once a label is so it's me caught and a num coin. nti yɛyɛ nhwehwɛmu to find out ɔmo a ɛdi saa process but once nhwehwɛmu no ɛkɔ so no yɛde nneɛma ɛgu kwan mu sɛdeɛ ɛbɛyɛ adeɛ asi no ɛnsi bio
ɛno deɛ meni problem wɔ sɛ ɔmɔde nneɛma gu kwan mu ba ne nneɛma de kwan mu no wode gu kwan mu no yɛbɛbu sa ho asɛm sɛ na yɛmfa nyina nkɔfa seas no sɛbesɛbe yɛwɔ kuro bi yɛfrɛ no sɛ landlocked country ebi ne Burkina Faso ɔmo sɛ ɔmo taa yusi yɛ nneɛma ɔmo taa yusi airport na ɔmo de nneɛma kɔ mu kuro nti ɛno saa no na wode kɔfa nsuo bi ɛso na akɔma no ana wode kɔfa wiem ne sɛ odi fa ne nie anya sa na akɔ akɔwie sɛ o ɛyi bi afiri ba nokure ni kɔ yɛde kɔma Burkina Faso foɔ na sɛ ɔmo yusi airport no ɛsika nyɛ sika firi mu paa ɛna sɛ wogyae na sɛ wɔle metino to a point a sɛ Burkina foɔ na ɛsɛ ɔmbɛfa deɛ na sɛ ɔmo nya saa means na ɛna no de ne akyerɛ bi akɔdi vu a na wode akyerɛ Togo na sɛ yɛbɛlusi saa revenue no ndeɛ sɛ adeɛ a ɛsɛ ɔdi fa ne terms ni because wodi mfa ne nyina nkɔfa nsuo so saa ɛdɛ yɛ a landlocked country no mo hia bi ɛna ade nso yɛ sɛ akɔsi bi a wɔyɛ aban na ka sɛ o bɔdeɛ kora ho asɔɔto bɔdeɛ asɔɔto nti ɔmo mo phone ko mo nya phone wɔ chop back ɔmo nya adwuma bi ɔmo nya phone wɔ na ɔmo atɔn amamfo na ban da ba sɛ ne mo obi anche kɔkɔ na mpacho mi di fufuo no ma me nche kɔkɔ na me yɛ dɛ ediro sɛ ɛfa saase so ɛna asoma ba ho a odi maka sa fa saase so na asoma ba ho nti obi akɔfa si so ɛno sa no kan sɛ no kure ni edu bia question mark akra ba ho wɔde bia ɛhɔ no de wɔde ndeɛ fa ɛbɛboa ɛna no kure no bia no betumi adu de ɔkɔ si so
anyway
ɛna
ma me lawyer ho
kom ɛde yɛ ne sɛ mpacho ade yɛ sɛ measures na ɛde aba no measures no stringent enough ɛnyiri nipa ne kete saa ɛna nipa no bebree na sɛ no di kan ɔma kabo mu a ayɛ conspiracy ana scheme bi ɔma yɛ no cartel no so mo breaking na how no ɛbɛ wɔ hɔ ɛna sɛ ɔmo punishment nipa hu sɛ punishment na kana koma aka ne sika aka ne bibi ansa na obegya saa nsɛmfo
lawyer this issue about customs ɛne nneɛma ɛte sɛ ɛnyɛ bibi foforɔ but ɛdɛn na yɛbɛtumi ayɛ to ensure that beyond just the interim measures no yɛkɛtɛli the corruption
Medasipi, Yedi can match President Mahama ne Naboafo ne Asante Regional Management Team of NDC, Chairman Anakwesi, ne Regional Minister, ne Party Executives are Eka Honyina. We share video now, we show you now. Who say NDC, a slogan, I say probity and accountability, and transparency, and on a dead dinner. In all the videos I will show you, happened during the regime of NDC. It shows clearly, say, and they are buying really interested, say, Bekata, Proyana, say, Ketashisha, Nima, Mwa, or Mino, Sikasem, and Adia. Intino, the only Kaya say, the arches are trust in Adi. The minister stated clearly, say, investigation, because Bibiara or Yakopa Bobiano, both the custom officers, one also Mopese, Casna Econo escort to be the tree. Any officers are Sabio Moanda Catiano, who say, I'm rather in the minister and said one trunk night and a 1 man instruction. Quickly, he moved to the ground. Or call ground no figure no as a sign from 2.6 to 8.5, which is leadership, transparency. It shows that this government is not a government of failure. And its main business. One, he wants to ensure say Obi Biara or involved in the value chain. Biara no be held, be holding accountable. And I think it's a clear signal to all the custom officers to know say if you are involved and if you are under this government and you want to engage in any of such activities, I don't know. So that is how I take it from. And we share said the Sabia buying the buy, I mean, name of that to say, now IMF policy of our won't mean concord no near the all efforts are being made, say, bit may increase the local revenue at the same time, so that may reduce the cost that the government is incurring. And on a Abuama so far, no one say, yes, they know it, I appreciate it. The dollar etimia perform, the foreign reserve etimia increase. Now, police service and the other if one in more clearance are with me some recruitment, and I'm sure say with the coming into force of the 24-hour economy act, I mean new investment are also going to be made. The government has launched the big push projects, and all those areas are going to help to increase the economy. We need tax to pay for all these projects. Until say taxes are not a kick up baby. na nkrofo to me we are money from one. Definitely all the programs of government will not be fulfilled. Until this requires swift and effective leadership, transparency and accountability, probity to ensure so we biara or side maybe and that person is held accountable. So I'm sure, and we are going to make sure, the government is going to make sure that everybody within the command chain at customs are going to be held accountable, and we support that. And I'm sure this one, we will not take it as a partisan issue. We will all come on board, both MPP, NDC, all the other political parties will all come on board and ensure that at least we are able to uproot this thing. And yeah, they are able me eliminating it completely. Yeah, but at least we should be able to reduce it to a certain minimum. Yeah, a bit me aboa. Now, we can custom for you to okay. If you are Ghana Hanoma, sometimes you ask yourself, say, will we pay 3,000? Will we pay 5,000 a month? But that person, to some extent, alleged there is an allegation, say, almost all the flash properties, $450,000, $350,000, $180,000. These are the people that are buying it. Where do they get the money from?
The public service and the civil servant.
And the civil servant. Yes. I mean, we all know a few of them that have built estates of all those kind of. Where do they get the money from? But teteno ni obi be fe ne sikafin. Ya ina nanom kra no sebe so okofie na so command sika no won adwuma we ya. Or reject it. But they know what is happening. Nobody cares about where the money is coming from. Even a Sunday mokrano, ye each am I whoever you are sikafin. You see we are bomb fire guso. And I'm a boy. And ya too. You better. Aside that, so we first say I come ha. Your baby, I say, the part at the park, akoko the Ajana bro. Ufuru ya pani piao. Do I Yaman affair or in Sabo my head inchi? I will choose or carpet. And now, me so I did come home to say, Titino, and penny for people who are very straight. Do offer say no crown as a will pay you man, I won't qualify, I won't foul. But some crofone in a number of more pension, no. Yeah, more intimi amfa bicycle, more value be show patriotism, making sure so yeah, you man said them rather so mobile pension, Bibrinano. How were they treated? Bibrinano, a bedroom fear normal life for Ebasa.
Oh, fun say, Catasician pray, ye Timin Kufi say, yeah, Jatum say, a ye.
Like, it's a reflection of the population, it's a reflection of ourselves. Father say, one way or the other, your values near your culture, and never be Brian. And no, and Emma Obia forced to say, obey me enough money, not just for myself, but also for the generation. Because the Masikaba by say, a sovereign 99% of our problem. So I was that necessity. And I want on social poverty. Who the person, Wako buffet. Oh, yeah, party, no friend of some buffet. We bet me at ya hipu because there is no assurance of tomorrow. Say one tea enough. One friends more bidding
Nkofasi said,
Nkofasi said, "In the wasn't get me feeding a per thousand, 100 the Kwanasa." Oh, we call program boy. Not a man be and I say, "Be no more." Or the poly bag, I send the bag into a tier or coffee or tier or coffee. Now, was I about better home? Well. And a near mamma, if you say one way or the other, no, a better part of your values and our principles. We need to change our mindset. Now, you who say, Sika, Efe, and so on, you be Jawako. See, it me boa more mine coso, it me your rose, it me CC hospitals. Now, it me a build a very good infrastructure system. You will be able to me, you will be there, you will be able to me, be better. Obi akọ hospital no ya I don't remember my boy but I bet to say now no say we need now for we are respect nti no and I said them dey kan obi ko pension na na busu afọ rejecting. I know of a certain man me krom free pension by e bia no what na mfa na areho because we na adwuma french to wantimi ansidan no call pension so the pension pay the man na ebisa say teacher for na say nurses for na say for pension lam sam say no moje obi teme 30,000 40,000 and this a won see dan says can wait to see dan
but it will not be a justification for
it will not be a justification for the question but I'm saying is that there is a root cause which we need to deal with. See, bit more making sure, so we call outsider, or social system. When you lose your job genuinely, there is a social system that will take care of you, making sure at least man to be around something small. Wow. Bibi sa wo hon, but I had bibi say ni ho. So when you adwuma zero. Bibi there is no safety net. Nancy I did leap. Ne ade beba ya obi a sabe omo income, but ehfa nipa do say na timi cover omo kakra bi. Eno no kra na we able to do it objectively. Say nipa genuinely no omo deserve na de mo. About to say yeah, my even scholarship need those say do we give it to people who genuinely needs it? No, we don't do it. In this will be no opportunity to have your person making sure say what me afa enough. Jago baby so what na bi no so ni ho bi wa obetimi enya bi no de adidi. But me feel say dey was here and say no. Yetimi ma corruption ya de be so expensive. You say who country bi to say Japan money, China no money ade chill for sa na ma no a. E bo otu okun. Publicly no ebe we so we uniform ade ne wa be gino so mo investigation be bia ya no obi hu say ade we ni na ye, and they also give what we call social awards yeah ebe affect one family nyina because data no ho no ma say we wo fa ko ye say ntino DNA ni bi wo obetimi aye the same thing into deserve say e ma obeye sad, but wo hwe ye hanom yi asese esiko say de odi kan ni say President Kufo by also to zero tolerance at Amos by bedroom by Bino now no out of what I can say corruption local free Adam Tam ne a buy nti na de wutu ase be ye ni ade no ade ba ko was here when they say we need to begin to show by example, but example na ya ba be show no e ba be to say political witch hunting, because if MPP is in power no watch NDC ni be ka say political witch hunting. Now NDC is in power, MPP near Munyaba Koya picketing. As ye, you are witch hunting our members. You are doing this, you are doing that. There was here in Ayakabum. Said the number can over say videos in building an NDC tab. And boldly no. The president and the ministers are able to come out to say this is all. But sometimes because you say Omaba out about expose to those things. If you are not careful, you will tend to say there is more corruption in the government than before. But there are two things. I had that say, nobody sees it, nobody hears it. And then we will say, so everything is perfect. And now say, obey expose for people to see, say, oh, a lot more officers are doing that. And then others will use it for campaign and brand you as more corrupt under the government. So we need to look at it carefully.
We are still live. Daybreak will feature television, so anope yedin komo. Ken, enema etise, and I'm sure that we've discussed it many times. Inherent that generally as a people Ghana ye greedy. Ana edenema ngofa yedi omo akoso omo nkohwe emo man ejapade ni nisika ho ban no omo adane omo ho se omo mum ene bewiaye.
The rig I mean church every phone at you phone. So I think sir somewhere a question. I had DBIS for mine and etc. Say Ubia Casabia no ya now they say you give up in the middle of our speech. Oh ya kaya na my examples are now they say oh chrono in any form can never be a norm in any society. That one we need to accept it. No matter what. Subamboni is subamboni. Subamboni intimi is subampapa da. Then it cannot change. So na eze koba na se koye enkrofo na akwa edzo e de yempe kwan bi so. Na yenhye dampe entuma pa bi mfa mfra no. Na yenkama na nya de because the person belongs to our party. You don't be away because of the way we are. Enya kojo so mde woni medada no matter one now so ye wan wo ye MPP wo ye de o pa ko fa MPP don nebo so wo ye fun a wo ye fun meka kiro. That is me. So and we need to find a way of dealing with it. Send ye party ni betimi aso what is here and I say MPP ni ya de na MPP ni ko kana say nya na MPP ko kapa me hu say so ye white sheep bi na so black sheep among us sa na NDC ni so ko ye na say nya na aka so NDC ni pa na aka NDC ni asema na MPP ni anka MPP ni asama MPP DC ni anka DC ni asama ye bone a wan nkoka when me are disappointed in ato ka say bi ya madwena nkoso I said this time there I will act just an our guy this time there I will act so there na one acting which of them didn't or ana one acting actually say o ma ye baako o ma ye mienu o ma ye miensa onka ana de nyesa na oga ya ana me na mente bro
o interpreting sa ne kwanso
that because say no say this for this time I'm going to act so which time didn't he act can't be na one acting so because say do ko tena ho ya me ma me o de bi ono bu baby kire me si kwasi e na de mefa e ja de mefa ya nka ye ne da na ekoro no ananyasa
pepe
eja de mefa ene obi o wa ye be kan kola ne hyase abetwa ne to pepepeo no aka je hey this is bad no yenka na akra na hyase bo sa obi bi da no akofa onji permission instead of you tell him say hey if you want to take anything from me and I will take any of my thing ask permission first no na jo ne me bad ya nya hwe so go hu ni za de nya ne de ofa enye bone most of this na o to opia bonten na obi de da no akofa when is any papa de da ho na say na da ho de ofa is not bad. So now ato asemu na asie no aba no e roko tra so ko be ya no bone krono no ya oketo ho ne okese o because this one is because this one the quantum was heavy that is why he said this I'm going to act and aba ko na nkete ananya sa na akwa because me menti asiu say which of them me person be say e dia hene na eye ya wa act dia hene na wo act so you me person we zu be to say that a revenue collection at the port wall. On the NDC as a party media. This year, Mahun is only very good in agenda setting. So, over here, na agenda be now set you. When we say a sweep as a mamma in a Jinapo, honorable Jinapo, so any mobile now, a cabaya 5 days of work, then there's over Kaya. A kaka crib enough for if you don't do something about it. Nagana fu say no pe kwanto electricity any petrol agenda was setting ana meboa ana ba ku bi so ni dey ana wabeka say see any o ma say hey bo ho ana o baby bi no it decide ye ato ye e dey na oba be because for some of us who have been in the freight forwarding industry no ones me export shipping freight forwarding kakra and a media grow port so I more port kakra so I understand it because I've seen there's a war revenue collection war bi o o makofa Dubai system bi aba ombezo mu de be icons ni free o maybe there na ma hesabno enti eyade bia oba be ye no I be catch say the icons are not effective ana. The Deputy Minister for Finance ebe introduce AI monitoring bi so be kaya.
Yes.
Emma manfo ko kan say AI na ade na oba be no icons no timi ya dada. Enti monhwe ni ye na manfo duplication bia the collection of the ports and then say for scanners na sisi port no. Is that what he's trying to do now? Because the say yonko chiwo mo ne enkoka say bia the tracking devices of the icons no they are not doing it well. The yempe kwa bisu ni free o mo kai say pese ye ni free health insurance one seven no on abo account or buy or cash so the system is not working there who ya say her mo preacher na ye from nsem dia ko mo from meboa ye from nsem fama iba from enti what is the agenda he's trying to set or there no person ochire
the person ochire na say nkofo bi afa kwati kwan so de enema eseso omutua to anye to no ama nema no ekọ nkrofo fie ana nkrofo adwuma ena yakohu ntisese no enhyehyeye ba se be ya wo mo eye saade no ye betwe wo mo aso na ebi nsi bio
o se na me kwa be si Dubai system so na AI tracking device no na me ba be si so kojo so sisi amino kasa ne o ma no a o se ye tua to no one ene o ma be dru port na scanner e ho a scanning no ma no ehwe wunu say the contraband goods bi animo a first you know so mo ye na scanning in area near the tracking device are born and then the best tracker there na ko do the destination of the goods baby eko sa ni o ma ye see ye fa ye ya fa free eastern corridor ni mo a ye say e ko Niger na ye hunu say there's ECOWAS protocol so e wo ho a eno so no e de adwuma me enra me hunu sa ade na me frɛ na me bisa mu na me say na nyoma na ye de bode kɔ no I know say nyoma bia o tracking device nti die nti na ekoba de say ati say nyoma no ye jeda ni ma de kɔ no no me say there be the custom division for na say almost suspecting your man say be under invoice na say normally under invoice and amount to lower tax and na say your man e kono kra no omu say enye nyoma bia say ye the bus system do they want to omu person mo ye physical check because custom for na mra ma ho kwan say scanner ne fa na omo ni nyina wi out ye physical inspection and na bie nyoma ne so de ma na wa kwohwehwe mu ahun say nyoma ne say mobile phones ne guma ayampa mobile phones ne guma na say enye mobile phones ne gum nti we na mobile phones ne guma then you allow it to go so we na a different thing peneke say nipa no declare wrong thing ewo nyoma na ewo so then
that's right
now we be apply the right taxes in the nipa na amanetua. But from what I'm seeing, I say, Mara, customs for no say, but any man no destination here, the tracking device in the bong. Near say this no man no destination, Dubai, Niger, Burkina Faso, Ebia, Mali, and I say Ivory Coast. The tracking the lane tracking the befa. Into the device and the bed then a bed monitor, the moment I bed divert you free quiet to say, keep on, a be show signal or custom for office, a be show signal. Inspection firm in the office. I bet you say that mama said this goods is being diverted. But now cost of voice almost suspected our goods no more so more they call customs a bonded warehouse or checking more more far information and comma a destination inspection company said the tracking device and they need to look at it and maybe reroute it to where they want to do the physical inspection. The other move on your man more than I didn't. In do cover our system, no, so I quite say a diverted goose, no. Eddie Akoba be any quite said if I'm fan this one may making it clear. Said those goose now are no goose that has been diverted.
Okay, so
the systems are working.
Yes. And near mana aircon. As I said, it could do BIB.
Yes.
A choir omonam so corner. A choir no sign.
And say sign.
Maybe. O say, a choir no omonam so assessor or more corn. A choir no as a sign. And so they needed to redirect. Redirection, no, inform or assessor or more money. So they are raising questions. And none at the problem now, but
I didn't process. Process and I say, the new man free, KGT about Bantama. Bantama, or the free KGT about Bantaman. Ubitima kofa, a year zoo about Bantama. Ubitima Kurako for no chabe for Bantama. Ubitima kofa range, walk of our crown about a BC Bantama. Nina no air Bantama, Robitima kofa the Shemai, a BC Bantama. Ubitima kofa run about a BC Bantama. But the customs for no. And your way banning as your way the call Bantama, as ye the best fat a year pampaso. Abba BC Kegitia, Abisi Zoo, Abisi a year and about. And the Abba BC Bantama. These are the route and then the befa. Then they will program it. It's a no money 10 far a year a doom baby cofa rigi pet. The system will pick up a bit people. Nakaze, this no man has been diverted. Nasan your mana or Mukasiakochino, it was destined for Niger. Air for Western bypass, Western road no so baby. Air for Wana Aquaco P, Silibu Aquaco C, Burkina, Ediaco Niger. They make a chance. But Sebastian, your man is here. I hope I saw your customer as also same route to no pair. You have to inform the destination inspection company or use tracking device and say, and your way, Uncle Niger, and your suspect say contraband goods be good. Now, the young man in Kofa has a move from Afrao, Eddie Aquan crime. So the Michan Banner answer a show was signal and say, I had diversion and sick pair. They will say, so these groups will know the cost of what Traba say, yet the a free Afrawako, a crack or year inspection he and Sana, they are called back. And the Banners are no, and I'm so much rather some say that ye. Until the person put on record say, nobody should say the things have been diverted.
No, the entire American no, say. This is Enshishemua who beside and Wenya. But if you look at the narrative, there's an admission of guilt. Say, and near mana, you can't say, oh, you're the co ebia Togo. And near mano, Abe Pie Swami will be shop. And Nunti say, Abe Pie Swami will be shop there. na che se eye niema esese nka nipa ni tuato bi but the nam se yesi ye de kɔ Burkina Faso nti ye ntuato bi etesa no abepie baabi abepie ni nya baabi e ka se ye de kɔ no nti ye ntuato because o narrative no se san na tie de a ene na asem bi amai eye custom for na esese e ka kire om ho se o na esese ye bɔ mama na ye say there is a diversion and ya mama na nti they only inform that this is the issue then there's no matter but at this point ya establishing kofua omo yes ade no a omo admit say that
even how about the cost
na me build my premises
2.6 to 8.5
unze me build my premises me ka say me mpese be te say you name the system not bad and as who name who give you the dog a bad name in order to hang it unze makasa asemu ya to.
Okay, so you are operating from a position say the estini nyina ya
share say yam hwe asem na ekonomu eye the make out say yam hwe asem na ekonomu eye because kai nam kwan so mo say eko de na kai nam kwan so eko anase a divertic enyoma ni nyina dia fa baabi emu be 60 million omu dwane kwan articulate omu dwane afan. So here the news, a story now the buyer. It says about 6 trucks has absconded. And normally I never take you to warehouse. Cost of my copy so. I don't know me to articulate my 6.
No, say they are supposed to have trackers. Some of the items had no trackers.
I didn't make a catcher or say. So let us investigate, interrogate it very well. Because our tracking no or more can. One really yeah, but catcher will say. Omo manage tracking device no sankrofo no enyo madwuma yi eni nti na bi wo ho a omo di tracking device bon ebi ozo mo fa tracking device nyeden emmo ho na ye kwa akizu company ni say the company is making a deal because there's a Dubai system abamu ho there is an AI system abamu ho what the mention no enti ye create scenario bi a and I see be about to say, oh, those who are managing the inspection, they are not doing it well.
How do you create a scenario when the companies involved will not agree? Because who created scenario? Not to say, yeah, to say, but the company involved will not allow for his name to be dented.
Well, you had any certain agenda.
Agenda setting. But in a situation where
in journalism,
how is it an agenda?
Kukufu yo moko demonstration. Enye na akwa bi kofa afon okaze ai ya bo me pa ya ma me 250 say me demonstration me dey meteme nkran ya akwa 200 yes me demonstration ya go bem ko no onye kukufu ama ya bo ne pa eno so no nye obi na agree na wa hihya ade no.
That's a different scenario. We are talking about a situation ya chenkofo. There's an admission of guilt to say adie we said ye can no nye sa na tie nti ye hwehwem. I don't have a difficulty so or suspicion, it is allowed, but in this specific matter people have been arrested.
KOJO me say Ghana ne wonu yete ha ana kosi prat ni kwaku ba ko be ka kire ye say omo nyina akodam no mu de prison no na ba ko say prison na oda no oda prison ni fake man tisa se mo ye ko yentoko peace fm so na prison na oda nyina na e fake emu ba ko e fake nti di omo be po bi omo bo ni prison ni lete bi omo twuru bia no na odi free prison ho e di abre eye SY government no no mo de ye mutu abebo po de na o fo makokum za enti what how anything na entinya possible so we betimi aka so okay ye hihya ade ni say ye pe company bi kura anvo mo bra company na we be dissolve company no we compensate it in this way we wa ko ni say na kwa ye real enti Ghana na ye wonu.
No, I do not have a difficulty. You are suspicious and there's nothing wrong with that.
Me ma heads up say yet krom ha no mo ko fa Dubai system by say the existing system na ya comes no enya adwuma o dia say yet krom no ko fa deputy minister of finance be can say o ma ko fa AI monitor bi dia ba e be monitor AI man ko fo da bi ade a wuyi comes no the system is so good that it can do all the work as the AI be tracking na say fo nyina So there's a bone of contention. It was a tracking device. Nene, omo ye customer, inspection. As if there's a problem there. What am I saying? Na die ntina da watch back, watch me, watch me, and Sunday also one can once. But this time, I think I was making that point. I told some more can say this time they our act on me. Tenase. So what is it? Be a be pain. And I want you one juma. And a second time one juma na. And I say a agenda na o seti. Ti said ye honorable John Gina focus seti agenda be catch like 5 days. I mean, fool as I say no more per coin. Atoto I the taxes aba. And I'm person bisa one some more.
Okay.
Well, bisa ya one some say. Sa tracking device na o se nya juma no. Mimi bisa when you say tracking device ni nyina all the cars almost o arrest ye nyina no. There were tracking device on the car. But the custom says, omu enya adie bi say I say enyoma na gumu no omo pese omo ye confirmation checks, physical checks. Na physical checks no mo dey buy. Ni say so go mo letter be but o ma have letter ama. So the trucks were diverted to the yard of a custom division for no. Enti omo no mo inspection the company ni insist say they should write to that effect. No mo say be okay answer no be unlock and then kwa mo tumi abie so mo tumi abie so. What do you say? And you says, track and some no more can now say there's a different track I can once.
All right.
I mean, that is what I want to also.
The Honorable Kennedy Kwesi can come say, or you're suspicious of the whole narrative now about Bontin and to know the or raise questions. Now,